Hey, Renee. What's going on? Feel like I don't see you very often. How's the video? How's that? And love, what's going on? I'm on too early for you guys. On too early. All right, everybody. Today, well, not today, tonight, I'm just doing a chat show. If you knew or not, if you got a notification, I'm in the community category doing a chat show. Not selling anything unless people want me to put stickers in later. That's unfortunate, love. Well, I wish for better times for you, more successful. Thank you. If you show up tomorrow, we might have. I think we still have some. We'll sell some tomorrow morning, if I remember. You have to come in and remind me. So everybody, Sunday is going to be a little different. So I'm doing a chat show tonight. Doing a chat show Thursday evening. Sunday, I'm going to potentially be doing something different besides just a normal chat show. So I'm on this evening, kind of impromptu. Wanted to go over something. I was going to go over this on Sunday, but obviously, since things might be changing up, I won't be able to. So before I get started, though, if you saw the title of the show, that's what we're going to talk about. Before I get started, if anybody has any questions, first thing, actually, how's the video? How's the sound? My internet was being kind of funky earlier. How's the video? How's the sound? Hey, yes, that's what's going on. I love, yeah. I know you've been wanting to, huh? Good. Sounds good. Video's good. So the benefit these evening shows, as you can see, we have a little bit of a smaller crowd, so it's a lot nicer. I can usually chat a little bit more in depth with people one on one if they have anything they want to talk about. If not, we're going to jump in. I guess my first question here: how many people here are sellers? This is not really my usual time for doing a chat show. This is information for sellers. Business information, selling online, whatnot, on specifically all that kind of stuff. You need to jump back in. Yeah. Stopping's never a good thing. So we have one person that's a seller in here. Everybody else wants to buy stuff. Oh, well, good thing you think that talk about work either way. You're just a collector. Well, this isn't going to help you. Not really. Hope to have your first show in the next week or so. All right. Who here is joining us for the first time? Anybody here new for the first time? Nobody? You are? Well, thanks for coming in. Usually I do these chat shows on Sunday mornings at 8 a.m. And any other time other than Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'm on selling. We sell constantly. Every day of the work week, we sell. So again, real quick, does anybody have any questions for me? If not, I'm going to jump into the title that I have on here. No questions? Actually, I might turn the air conditioner on. It's getting a little toasty in here. Duck Kitty's ready with the party for. Thanks for the raid. You and you alone can feel free to plug your shows. Let everybody know what you sell when you sell, and anybody that likes what they have to say, please with Mark and File. And remember, everybody, one and only one person can plug their shows, and that's the raider. And the raider only, which can do so up to 2 or 3 times in the next several minutes if they so desire. Again, thank you for the show, and I hope you had a great and wonderful show. Let me know if this is too loud for you. Can you guys still hear me fine? Still hear me? Great. I'm going to ask one more time. Actually, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Like I said, this year's for people that are sellers. We're going to go over a couple of topics. All right. 9:30, going back on at 9:30. I'm going to go over two things. A concept of what's called choice overload. Best category love. Just the estate sale is always going to be your best if you're going to do a bunch of random stuff. That's always the best place to go to catch the people that are looking for random stuff. So we're going to go over the principle of choice overload, and I'm going to talk about principles behind the value of free shipping for selling here on an app like Whatnot, live stream selling. So is anybody familiar with that? Anybody familiar with the concept of what's called choice overload? Can you take a stab? It's actually a behavioral principle in shopping. This is paralysis. Yeah. So choice overload is, I mean, it's literally that. It's when you're presented with too many choices that your brain basically makes no choice instead of making a choice. It like Millicent's put it, you have paralysis. It basically freezes your brain. So you don't have to think too terribly far. I hope not. And thinking about two main applications which people employ that create choice overload. Anybody want to take a stab at what those two applications here on this platform are that create two main things people to utilize or systems they employ? No. Zoe's Treasures knows where I'm going. Picks up the string, picks up the thread, and starts pulling. So, no. Choice overload has to do with options for choice, okay? And scan shows. Scan shows, which are not, it doesn't even have to be a scan show, but a scan show and your buy it now, your bin, are landmines for choice overload. Literal landmines for choice overload. When you're deciding to do a sale where you are doing the, hey, let me know what you want, everybody, whether that's telling people to tell you what they want in the bin or telling people to tell you what you want in a pile of stuff you have out in front of you. Choice overload is a hardcore reaction that will happen if you don't figure out how to eliminate the effects of choice overload. Zoe's Treasures, I see you're in here. I'm assuming you probably did a little research on choice overload. Do you know what the magic number for choice overload is? You know what number, give or take, is the key number? No. That starts causing choice overload. It's the rule of seven. 7 plus minus 2. So depending on the person, you're looking at 7 items. Just call it 7. Or if you want to do add the plus minus 2, that's what, 5 to 9. Any given person. So right there in the middle there is 7. What that means is, if you are a bin person and you want to create the most effective application for your bin utilization, having no more than 7 items in your bin is the optimal number if you decide to do it. If you decide to employ it. Hey, buddy, what's going on? And what you also have to understand is these are applications that apply to previous methods of selling. No, Zero is my cat. Previous methods of selling was not an online platform. You got to realize, what else is one of your choices in choice overload for buying? Is the thing that you're not going to realize, and it's a biggie. If you have a bin, we're talking the bin right now. Hold on, let me address the rate. Shiders, Two Sons Vintage, rated with a party of 19. Thank you for the rate. You and you alone can feel free to plug your shows. Let everybody know what you sell when you sell it. And anybody that likes what they have to say, please bookmark and follow. And remember, everybody, one and only one person can plug their shows, and that is the rater and the rater only, which can do so up to 2 or 3 times in the next several minutes as they so desire. Again, thank you for the rate, and I hope you had a great and wonderful show. So, If you have items in your bin, and we're talking about choice overload, oh, nice watches. What do you think is another choice that is outweighing the items in your bin? It's a weighted choice. I did say again fast. Come on, everybody. We're talking about the bin. No, no. We're talking about products. No. Let's stay in context. What would be another? No. What is another purchasing option? What is it? If I have items in my bin, what is another choice I could be doing? What's the other option besides the bin? The live selling, the auction itself that's going on. If I'm here selling stuff live and I have stuff in the bin, 7 being the magic number, but what you have to understand. And Zoe, you're going to probably find this interesting if you think about it for a second. Do you remember Whatnot's magic number and the curiosity behind how low it was for bin attribution to benefit in sales? Magic number 7, but you have a weighted attribute to comparison for choice overload. That's being in your actual sale. Zoe's treasures, are you still here? Do you remember what Whatnot's number was? Where they said if you have this number in your bin, remember their magic number? It was 3. And I'm telling you right now, it's because the weighted average of your live show 100% affects your choice overload. Now, okay, I am just expressing this as a perspective of choice overload. You're still affecting choice overload by even having it been in the first place. So, if anybody knows me, I'm not an advocate of utilization of the bin. There's a whole lot of other stuff that in days to come as I do these behavioral compounding shows that will hopefully draw a lot of it together in a totality, basically layered one on top of another, you'll understand. But what I am telling you is if you're insistent on thinking that having a bin is an effective model, my suggestion to you is keep the bin extremely minimal because choice overload is a real thing. And choice overload that is dynamically different when you couple it with a live auction. The live auction has a colossal, heavily weighted choice in comparison to the items in your bin. So what happens in choice overload too is what's called abandonment. It's your cart abandonment. We don't have a cart. There is no cart involved. So the abandonment principles actually are compounded as well. And in other words, if you have a live auction going on and people decide to stay with the live auction and briefly go over and look, or even go and look down at your shop and notice you have 100 items in it, you're creating almost an instantaneous potential for abandonment immediately. Yeah, you are. Um, Not to mention, I just have to throw this out there. Has anyone noticed the new little let's play games with Whatnot and you can win points or some stuff that, yeah. I'm going to go off on a little sidetrack here. whatnot, we are running out of space on the screen to effectively sell stuff in a live stream selling platform. Please refrain from adding more things in my visual real estate. It's freaking ridiculous. That's my little side irritation with the newfound. Let's win points. Let's make it a video game. It's not active in live stream. It's across the entire platform. It's not. It's not even designed to keep you. It's it. Make no mistake. It's designed to keep you on the app, not in somebody's stream. Don't misunderstand that. It's not it's not an attribute to each individual person. It's for the app as its totality. Now, what's one way we can eliminate choice overload? Now, we talked about the bin, and then we talked about people doing scan shows or the shows where you have a bunch of stuff out and you ask people, let me know what you want. Okay. We all know what those two shows are like. And we all know that many new buyers succumb to that. Many new buyers succumb to either putting things in their buy it now or putting piles of stuff out in the show and asking people coming in, what would you like me to run next? You guys let me know. What are you interested in? Who here has either done that or has been exposed to sellers that are doing that? Say me. Or a Y for yes. Every single one of you should be saying it. You are creating why? How many people have been in the rooms and realized nobody, there'll be like 30 people in the room and like one or two people are responding. What do you think is causing that? What do you think one of the big attributes to that potentially could be? People are overwhelmed by choice overload. Now, let's not mistake that the control of choice overload is in your hands, literally in your hands. So, with that little hint, same scenario, piles of stuff out in view. What do you do as a seller? Instead, you eliminate the choice. How do you eliminate the choice overload? Yeah, Zoe's treasures. You choose. You're the one that chooses the item that runs next. People, whether you realize it or not, people like that better than providing them with the option to choose because of principles like choice overload. Choice overload is something people don't like and will leave as a result. People will stay if you're making the choices for them with the understanding that eventually you will get to the item they're interested in. You can always do a hybrid version if you so desire, if you want to give people the choice, the people that come in that want to choose, but always grab something and run it if nobody's telling you what they want. If you have a statement or a question for me, please make sure you use a question mark so I understand you are directing that at me, or definitely want me to read it and maybe comment or respond to it. So, in my personal application, if you're familiar with my shows, I put lots of random stuff out, capitalize on other behavioral principles. But to eliminate choice overload from negatively impacting my method and style of selling, I have a strict rule that there are no requests. No requests, random pulls. Actually, we call it live sorting, no requests. That is the style in which I sell on the regular basis. Any benefit to a, I don't know what that means. No, I would say the benefit to an overview would be a video prior to you even having the sale. You want to get down and start selling. I am an advocate, but I personally don't partake in it, and I should. If you have the ability to do like, if you have more of a curated style than me, I don't curate. I have boxes, but even if I boxes, sometimes just doing a video that you upload and have it as part of your show before your show starts, instead of pre-listing a bunch of items like some people do. I just say do a video of your items and post it. So when people pop on your show, they see a video and voila, they get to get an idea of what you're planning on selling the day of your show. No, no. My suggestion to you is to get as much stuff in your visual real estate as possible. You always want as much merchandise. That comes with, we talked about this before, the cheerleader effect principle kicks in. And then other parts of what is incorporated into the cheerleader effect is the halo effect. The halo effect is applicable to multiple. It's like a triggering mechanism that happens in behavioral principles that is like buried inside other behavioral principles like the cheerleader effect, the the authority bias and all that kind of stuff has a halo effect built into it. But that's all other stuff to talk about another day, or maybe today. Who knows? Yeah, yeah. That's also more of it. Oh, look, I actually have notes about the cheerleader effect. So, was anybody here with me when we talked about the cheerleader effect? I know you were Zoe's treasures. So, uh, just remember the key thing I want you to take away with the choice overload principle. It is true. It is very negatively associated with the way you sell, and it is controllable. Okay, it's all in your control. But one thing you can't control is if you have a large laundry list of items and you buy it now. Okay, the same thing is going to happen. And I know there's a lot of people that disagree with me, and I keep bringing out principles that I keep trying to explain. Having stuff pre-listed very frequently um, will cause the exact same kind of counteractive effects at what you're really looking for. So choice overload. Now, don't get me wrong. You can very easily have a bunch of stuff pre-listed and make sure you tell people, hey, I'm going to run everything. Just stay in the show. It's just there for my way of running efficiencies, however you like to run your show for it. Again, I don't think it's in the end the most efficient and the best applicable means to sell live. However, I know a lot of people traditionally like to do things that way, but within your control, you can basically allow people to know, like, hey, just stay with me here in the show. Make sure you stay with me. We'll get to everything in the order in which I choose. Not to mention, if you ever pay attention to the principles of arbitrary coherence and all the different manners in which you can utilize that, you don't want people distracting you from exercising those benefits um, by asking you to pull stuff out of the buy, not the buy it now, but out of your pre-listed items. So, does anybody understand what I just said? Probably not. Some of you have to. Zoe's treasures, I know. Yeah, yeah. If you followed me and you understand what I'm talking about with the principles of arbitrary coherence. So the cheerleader effects. Okay, you want me to go over that real quick? Okay. The cheerleader effect is it's what your brain does. Your brain, it's called ensemble coding. Okay. Your brain has the ability to assess large quantities of items or people. Cali Girl World is ready with the party three. Cali Girl World, thank you for the raid. You and you alone can feel free to plug your shows. Let everybody know what you sell when you sell, and anybody likes it as a safe legal market follow. Remember, everybody, one and only one person can plug their shows, and that's a raider, and the raider others can do so up to 2 or 3 times in the next several minutes if they so desire. Again, thank you for the raid, and I hope you had a great, wonderful show. So here's the deal. Ensemble coding is your brain's ability within milliseconds. Understand, this is so fractional, it literally takes no time for your brain, for us to perceive time anyway, to apply this attribute, okay? The cheerleader effect allows you to assess a grouping of, like I said, either people or items and make an assessment of value, okay? However, what your brain does is what always happens. If I throw a pile of pennies out in the street and 2 of them are brand spanking new and shiny, which ones are you going to notice first? You already know this. You're going to notice there's a pile of pennies out there, right? Right? But which one's your brain going to notice first? Yeah. You got, it's like pulling teeth here to get obvious answers. Or you don't answer because they're so obvious. Like, Jeremy, I don't need to answer that. It's so obvious. Yeah. So, but here's what happens. Here's what happens. If I have them closely together in an easily visual range. So, what's an easy visual range in the context of live selling? Come on, everybody. What do I call it? What's the visual range? What do I refer to the visual range in live sales, in live stream selling? Yes, it's your visual real estate, which Whatnot keeps trying to steal from us. It's our visual real estate. Okay, everybody, if you're new here, I'm going to show you. This is why you do this every time before you start running. This is your visual real estate. Everything right here. And this is why you do this, to increase your visual real estate. Everybody, at a minimum, should have a phone that can do that or utilize that attribute. Okay? So, if you have your merchandise consolidated, tightly packed, or otherwise, within that, everyone's brain can grasp that. It's on a screen, okay? Your brain will trigger the ensemble coding. And what will happen is the better items that your brain picks up on creates a increased value attribute to every item you have out there. It will elevate the perceived value of everything that's on the screen. Same thing happens with groups of people. You don't realize it, but when tons of people are in a group and you're seeing everybody, the people that your brain picks up on that you think are more attractive will elevate the attractive attributes of everybody in the group. It's called the cheerleader effect. Now, the magic number to that, which is funny, is 7 to 10% of the visual range, not the item number count, the visual range. So 7 to 10% of the items out there being perceived as a higher quality will help elevate the valuations of the entire pile. Let me ask everybody here something. Who here has purchased things in bulk? Who here has purchased things in bulk? Who here has looked through a pile of things, a pile of stuff, and you're going through it and you're like, that's cool. That's cool. That's really cool. That's nice. You buy it for whatever price, you get it home and you're going through it, spread it all out, look at it more individualized, and you're like, wow, why did I think this was such a great pile of stuff? Not a bunch of junk, but just not quite exactly the same as your brain remembers it. How many people here has that happened to? That is a cheerleader effect in ensemble coding working. That is what's happening. That's why you stop. No, here's what's helpful. Now that you know that, everybody, let's shift the gears here a little bit to the buying side of things for you as a seller. Now that you know that, who here, when you go through a pile, is gonna? What I want you to do, realize when you're going through a pile, say to yourself, cheerleader effect or ensemble coding. Now you're going to know your brain will gear down, ratchet down, and allow you to maybe take a more accurate reassessment, cognitively being aware of what you may have succumbed to. I do it myself now. I do it all the time. I do it every time now I go through a pile. Will you draw it down to zero effect? No, you will not draw it to a zero effect. These are behavioral principles that are ingrained in us from a primitive evolutionary perspective. Okay. Yes, Mojo, we will. I will. Remind me again, though, in a bit. This is, I mean, from the buy, from the selling, and for you as a sourcing, it's extremely helpful for you to understand these principles. Okay, extremely helpful. Um, so now, you know, 7 to 10%. Now, here's the beauty, though. The 7 to 10% perspective has to do with your buyer's perspective. So you're never going to 100% guess it. It also scales and changes depending on the different quality of items you have out there. Um, However, if you get below that threshold, the opposite will start happening. That means that you actually draw down the value of the entire pile. You'll mitigate the effect, and it'll just bring down the value of the higher priced items you have in there. So, and the fun thing is, I'm doing all this because I'm putting an actual training book together, a sales training book for my employees, which I don't know. Maybe someday it'll be available in some way, shape, or form for everybody. I haven't decided that yet. So, yeah, we're going to get there. So, here's how the totality of the few things we talked about today. We have choice overload, okay? Which, if you think about it, having a big, huge pile of stuff out on the screen could, in theory, create choice overload. But we talked about how to mitigate choice overload principles by removing the ability for people to choose. You remove the choice. You are the decision maker. So, like me and my shows, I do not allow people to make any requests. We politely tell people no requests. We get to everything. I go as far as to tell people to make it seem fair to everybody. If you do request something, I will actually avoid it, wait longer so I don't give the impression of favoritism. So the people in my show have come to realize that you don't request because that just means it's going to take longer for you to get the item. Well, Zoe's mod, that is a topic of frustration, is it not? But that's a topic for another day. And also the reason I'm putting training material together so there's a fuller understanding on people like her part. So she understands why I roll my eyes and get frustrated. Sorry, I'm talking to a red chat comment right now. I'm referencing a red chat comment. And I decided it's about time I start pulling some information together for everybody that works for me. Uh, so back to it anyway. What else? The choice overload principle. You remove the choice from the buyer as far as what's selling. You get the overall value of the cheerleader effect when you have piles of stuff out for people to view, which you cannot capitalize on if all your items are over in the bin. The bin, your brain focuses on each item at one time. However, at the same time, when you have tons of different items to scroll through, your brain locks up with choice overload. Having everything out, you get the effects and the control aspect of then pulling the item up, making everybody focus on that said item, and running it, eliminating choice overload, but still capitalizing on the halo principle built into the cheerleader effect. We all understand. Does it all make sense? Did I articulate and explain that? There's a lot more to it, but I'm trying to keep it simple. Oh, there's more, but we're going to take it one step at a time. So you always say clear as mud. You know, there's fish that have no problem seeing through mud. That's the point of having a pile of stuff in the background. So whenever you come to my shows, you'll see that I always have piles of merchandise in my visual real estate. And it's a multitude of different value priced items, categories. I'll have rings, I'll have necklaces, I'll have bracelets, I'll have sterling silver. There'll be sometimes gold sitting in there. It'll just be a whole magnet of everything across the board in your visual real estate. The visual real estate is your viewable space on your screen. Your shows, people don't have the same limitations usually because of the free shipping. Millicents, what are you saying? No, no, I'm talking about the capitalizing on the halo effect built inside of the cheerleader effect, and also at the same time eliminating choice overload. People don't have the same limitations because of the free shipping. Limitations as far as bidding on merchandise. Oh, yeah, I free shipping, which is a second topic of today. Yeah, they sell for $1 to $2 in my show. Who cares? It's called friction. In selling, in general, and online selling, the term is friction. Yeah, but that's irrelevant to the totality of the sale. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's the way in which you apply it. And we're going to go over this. Listen, everybody, I'm not sitting here telling you to do free shipping. I'm telling you and going to show you and go over the numbers as to why I do free shipping. Free shipping is a great way to sell. Killed eBay. I'm not sure what you mean by killed eBay. So some of these principles will apply. Some of these principles won't apply when you're dealing with reduced shipping. I'm going to talk about applying free shipping towards to selling. I won't shop at eBay because I cannot afford the shipping fees on top of the cost of the items. Oh, because people are charging shipping on eBay. as opposed to utilizing free shipping? Gotcha. So that killed it for you. Gotcha. All right. There's a lot of principles. I'm going to go over a couple of them here. Okay. All right. Are you familiar with the zero price effect? Anybody familiar with zero price effect? Okay. Basically, it's the power of free. Okay. Whenever somebody, now, you got to understand the way this links. Do you realize when you're shopping, you know subconsciously that shipping, the charge to shipping, has no physical value to you? There's no physical, you get nothing physical out of the cost of shipping. You understand that? You get nothing. So the price effect is actually higher. So if you decided, so subconsciously, okay, the fact that you remember, we don't think rationally. Let's say I had a $4 item that had $4 shipping. That would negatively impact us more than if I charge $8 with free shipping. Because even though we're spending the same, my brain goes, I'm spending $4 on nothing. Doesn't matter if it's irrational, it's true. And then the zero price effect basically means if you're getting something for free, you actually hold a higher value to it. So now, if I worded something where, okay, it's $4 with $4 shipping, or I worded it $8, or I worded it $8 with free shipping, which one do you think your brain goes, oh, I want that? 100%. Even if it's got the most minute sliver of, wait, that just says $8. Why doesn't it say free shipping? It causes enough of a delay for you to pick. If I had a choice chart out there and showed everybody three options, $8 free shipping, $8 or $4 and $4 shipping, or even if I mixed in, especially if I mixed the numbers up, but that actual end result was the same, all of them totaled $8. The overall overwhelming choice would always be the one with free shipping, especially if they spent the time to do the mental math. So the zero price effect just tells you that there is a built-in additional value, perceived value to offering things that are free. And that is compounded by the fact that you're offering something for free that has no physical value to it in a purchase. Can you see how that compounds? Now, the key to it is making sure people are fully aware and engaged to the principle that that is what's going on. That's also the loss aversion principle. We talk about the loss aversion principles a lot here. Loss aversion goes into effect. Uh, you know, a loss hurts more than a gain feels good. So when you pay for shipping, no matter which way you look at it, once you pay for shipping, you feel like you lost money. And a loss hurts twice as much as a gain feels good. So obviously offering free shipping. And if your brain thinks, oh, I prevented the loss of $5, that makes you feel like you gained $10. Just to give you an easy, your brain reacts the same as if you gain $10. Everyone following? You understand? That's like a flat out rule, behavioral principle of loss aversion. Now, to make sure everyone understands it, you have to incorporate prompts and for people to re-acknowledge and understand. Now, let's get into the percentages. When people start incorporating into a standard method of selling online, standard e-commerce sales, what do you think the increase in average order value was when they started applying free shipping? When places like the River, Target, all the different places under the when they started, we're going back to when you'd have to add items in order to earn free shipping. That was a whole nother principle. But just when they, besides that principle, which compounded even more than the standard flat value, what percentage? Yeah, it increased. What percentage do you think it increased? My numbers here, Zoe, that when I did my research was on the top end was about 30%. Because 58% of people added more uh, items to their cart in order to for free shipping. So it went up 20 to 30. Your average order value from offering free shipping went up 20 to 30%, which means as long as the free shipping you were offering was not eating up, wasn't costing you about 30% or 20%, I would say, which the negotiated rates they got at the times and all that fun stuff obviously did not. Not to mention all the other benefits of the repeat return customer attributes that came along with it. So, hey, buddy. Now, this was really interesting. When I started doing numbers, I was having fun with some AI. I like that AI finally started being able to do some complex math and they can actually do some running of numbers. I'm going to go into all the crazy fun attributes on the back end, but the potential revenue impact, if applied appropriately, in comparison to static to live stream selling free shipping, what do you think my numbers came up to? And I'll tell you why, just with a couple little principles. Can't go into all there's a bunch of them that apply if utilized appropriately. 20 to 30 average order value in traditional e-commerce. What do you think the potential increase in live auction selling if you apply several attributes to live selling? Anybody want to guess? Zoe, it's a broad spectrum. It's a broad spectrum. It's 40 to actually 100%. Upwards, literally upwards of 100% increase in average order value. And the reason that is because of the associative comparative aspects. Obviously, here's the reason why. So let's say you take something like jewelry, where shipping is a higher percentage rate of the value of the price you're selling. You followed me so far? So shipping's baseline price in somebody's brain is like $4 or $5. Over $4, mentally round up to 5. And the item's worth, $5 to $10. So the value of that shipping is increased exponentially. So the value of the free shipping is increased exponentially. The value of the free shipping associated with the principle we just talked about of the loss aversion principles actually compound the value, thereby increasing it over just the static number of the $5 because they didn't lose the $5. It makes them feel as good as they're gaining 10, and they're actually willing to basically spend into that 10. Everyone following so far? That's just one attribute. This is why we can get upwards of $100% increase in value as a result of showing of free shipping. In standard e-commerce, it's a one-time threshold. People just put stuff in a cart and then buy it, and the effect of the free shipping is done. Not to mention they show you, oh, you would have paid $20. Here's the free shipping. We're live selling. So the value is compounded by the fact that our brains reassociate every time you run another sale. We don't do accumulative mental math. Okay. So every time I run a new item and I say free shipping, no need to spend $5 or $7 to get your items here. You're getting it for free on Green 13. First swipes on us. Whatever terminology I use, it brings the value back, even though they've already gotten it in a previous purchase. Whereas in a static form, if it was in the buy it now, or if it was over in another like marketplace, you only get the value of the free shipping once out of all the accumulated items. Does that make sense to you? Just put it simply, yes. Your brain is telling you you're saving $5 on every item. This is a good topic. I should have saved this for Sunday, right? Or you guys like it that it's a smaller crowd tonight? It's like getting the good fun, the granular fun stuff, right? On Thursday nights. So that is how you're 40 to 100%. So again, Millicent. No, I don't. Sunday mornings is usually my chat show. But this Sunday I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. So and occasionally I come on and do these Thursdays. I like doing these because it is a smaller crowd. And I think it benefits a new base of people that haven't heard me talk about things, and they get it's like the older information that I've gone over a million times. It's fresh for the people that are willing to come join me on a Thursday evening. Yeah, so he's not. No, it's fine. You didn't get a chance to start this one. Is that what you're saying? You just have to hold your breath. Yeah. So, and then the attribute of value comes down to your resetting verb. You basically can utilize statements, cues, verbal resets in order to refresh the value of the free shipping attribute. Those things, like I said, free shipping, first swipes on us. No need to waste $5 or $7 in order to get the items to you. We give it to you for free. All that kind, those type of things. That actually resets the value proposition in people's minds in order to recapitalize on the free shipping attributes. The longer I've been running free shipping, the more beneficial it has been to my business. It takes it took me a lot of practice, a lot of research like this in order to understand how to leverage it to make it work for my benefit. Just turning it on in of itself is not something that's just going to make you more money. Okay. I do want to make sure that that is abundantly clear. If it was, everybody would already be doing it. The other thing you have to get over is what the other person was talking about earlier that was concerning to them. And what was that? Does anybody remember earlier in the chat, somebody was concerned that, hey, if you sell something for $1 or two, aren't you losing money? Is that a concern of mine, everybody? Who here knows how much of a concern me selling an item for $1? What do I do? Everybody, what do I do when an item sells for $1? Who here's been in my show when something sells for $1? I give them more. I reward them for winning something for $1 and paying attention, because there's nothing in my shows with free shipping, in my opinion, that should sell for $1. Zoe's Mod, that was a pearl necklace with a 14-karat gold clasp that I gave away for free because somebody won something that should have sold for a minimum of $3 to $4. I know it's not a lot, but sometimes I'm depending on the mood. Sometimes I'll be like, you're getting it all. Other times I'll throw in a couple of extra pieces. Zoe, I know. I know you know. I know you know. And long shows help compensate for shipping costs. They do. Now, everything I'm talking about is an attribute that is effective, even in it can be. It's just more effective with the free show principles. Now, it has to be leveraged appropriately, taken advantage of appropriately, and compounded upon appropriately. Everything I do is a compounding attribute to value. They really don't work independently of themselves for the most part. So between the live sorting attributes, all the different things that I have already talked about and will be talking about, is all the stuff you want to pay attention to and realize the benefits and how to capitalize on them. In the future shows, we're going to be talking about the authority bias and the value that brings, which is another halo effect principle. There's a halo effect built in to the authority bias. Yeah, what else am I going to be talking about? Obviously, I talk a lot about arbitrary coherence. And if anybody's joining us for the first time, that's one of the biggest and most valuable principles you can ever learn in sales. You can utilize that in your own personal life. If you have a working job that you work at, there's principles in there that once you understand the broad attributes of arbitrary coherence, that it goes far beyond just numbers and dollars. Arbitrary coherence is affected in emotional states, in color attributes, and style attributes, and era attributes. It does not have to be strictly numbers, but it's easiest to be explained in numbers. So I would highly recommend you do some research on it and join me again, because I've always gone back to that topic because I feel it's one of the largest and most valuable topics for people to understand. And it takes a little while for the people to grasp the totality of the and the magnitude at which it can be helpful in your journey in sales, whether it be here on Whatnot or anywhere else. And whether or not you're utilizing even things like the bin, you can apply the principles if you want. Oh, yes, sorry. We will do that. We will do that. You want me to put stickers in so you can buy? Mojo, are you here? You were the one that asked. I don't know if Mojo's still here. If they're not, we'll have to get them. They were asking for it. So, okay. Let me go in here and put the stickers in. No, no, no. I'll explain that in a second. I'll explain that in a second. You might have to ask it again about the dollar principle. Okay, the sticker should be in there now. So the free throw in, yeah, it wakes up the entire chat. There's a multitude of things that happen. It wakes up the entire chat. The buyer obviously appreciated it immensely. It's a targeted giveaway towards the buyer. Okay. Will the buyer reciprocate? The principles of reciprocation get activated as a result? 1000%. Is there a follow through in value in the items that sell afterwards? Has anybody noticed how much faster bidding accumulates and how quickly the prices go up higher on the 2 or 3 items after I do that? 100% without fail, every time, every time. So there's no doubt that it wakes everybody up. Everybody refocuses, pays attention. Yes, everyone is paying attention. When everybody in the room is paying attention, what do you think happens to values? Just simply from the attention perspective. If everybody in your room is paying attention to what you're doing and what you're selling, what happens to values? What happens to values when everyone's not paying attention? The opposite, obviously. Yeah, the norm of reciprocity activates as well. So it's a multi-tiered element that is very valuable, very useful. Um, it uh, it it benefits you as a seller and benefits the buyer, and it also benefits the other buyers that would have liked to buy stuff, but they were not paying attention to what was going on. Okay, it's a win-win situation across the board when I give stuff like that away in those situations. And the people that are watching for sheer enjoyment get a kick out of it as well. So they come back to watch more. And please understand, people that watch your shows that are in there chatting, hanging out, contribute towards activity that Whatnot does enjoy and like and utilizes in order to place you higher in their um, discoverability attributes to selling here and Whatnot. The discoverability is what you're always after, and people being in your chat increases that. They flat out tell you that in the discoverability attributes. Okay. Well, I should say it's activity from the people. So if they're in there watching and they're paying attention, and you do something like that, it also activates their desire to chat and say, wow, that's awesome. Congratulations. Great grab. Even better grab. So there's just compounded elements all over the place to doing stuff like that. Yeah. If you want to, yeah, I do say that. If you ever want their chat to react and get going, you just have to sneeze. It works great. Or talk about food. One of the other things that is fun, this does help. This does work. If you have, like, let's say 20, 30 people in your room, if you get up to that point, um, start talking about a song and get everybody to start saying the lyrics or a nursery rhyme or something, especially around Christmas. You get somebody to start one verse and then you tell everybody else to finish it and they'll start going down the line. It'll get your chat going. It will. Yep. People can't help it, especially if it's a very memorable. So, um, and it's fun. It's all in good fun, right? So, again, I've been I have this tendency to kind of go too much into detail, so I've been trying to keep it a little bit more condensed information. Um, I know, Mill. I was thinking that I was like, I should only put 2 in there. I know the cat. Get the cat one. One of the cats. You should be the lengthy and detailed description should help you greatly in your choice. My cat, every time he lays, it's a shedding season. When I have the air conditioner on, it's like fur just always wants to go right up my nose. Is it the reason? I'm trying to read your name. Their Cells Collective. What is that? You're super allergic. Anyway, thank you for the raid. You and you alone can feel free to plug your shows. Let everybody know what you sell, when you sell, and anybody likes what they have to say. Please leave a market follow. Remember, everybody, one and only one person can plug their shows. That's a raider and the raider only, which can do so up to 2 or 3 times in the next several minutes if they so desire. Again, thank you for the raid. And I hope you had a great, wonderful show. The Resale Collect. Oh, yeah. Is that what it is? The resale. Oh, yeah, yeah. Now that you say it, it makes sense. My brain doesn't separate words. Thank you. Words are hard. Oh man, that's awesome. You're welcome. Sorry I butchered your name, but that's why I always make up names for everybody. So that's a strong word, but I'll take the compliment. Thank you. I am not brilliant. I just play a brilliant person on Whatnot. Actually, I say that about smart. Not a smart person. I just play one on Whatnot. Thoughts on the new trends feature? That new thing that just started to like rolling out in the last day or two, the points thing. Is that what you're talking about? What? I don't look at a search bar. Where's that at? Oh Lord. Where? Yeah, I've been on for over 5 years. Click categories. Categories. Trending today. Oh, I don't freaking care. That's like 2 steps more than I'm ever willing to take on here. I have to go the whole way down there and click on categories. Why would I do that? I just look at my feeds. Feeds. That's what people do. And that's where people, you want to know what the biggest trend is on people's utilization of applications? Yeah, you want to know what it is? Feeds. Where? It's in the feeds too? Let me see. So if I go to my For You feed, I don't see it in my For You feed. Oh, where? I see shows with momentum. I don't see it. They didn't give it to me, Mill. They know I wouldn't want it. Keep going. So there's Premier Shop. I'm already done. Shows with momentum, popular shows, sellers I've watched. I'm already 20 times further down than I ever am. Oh, the shows with momentum have been on, but we're talking about the category, like searched. Yeah, 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 yeah. Trending today. Yeah, where it talks about Nido, those stupid overpriced hats, Jellycat, Loungefly, Nike, Squishy Toys, Jersey, Coach. You know what's cool? Guess how many items in all those categories I sell? You got it. Guess how many of those items I plan on selling in the future? Good guess. Oh man. Instagram, my one employee does like a G13 fines. And then YouTube, I do a combination show on Sunday evenings at 6:30 called the Reselling Roundtable. It's me, the Zoe's Treasures crew, and I Love Discounts crew. We get on there and do a fun show. Yep, Millicent's put it in there for you. So, what's the theory behind it? The theory behind it is that whatnot and so many people. I just have to tell you, you want the large scale theory, Mojo? Have we all noticed how the entirety of every single industry is just this, an element of regurgitation? Like honestly, everything from movies to clothing to like everything, like I feel like the level of innovation outside of potentially AI, but that doesn't even seem like it's addressing that situation, has become so numb. And why I'm going so far up, I just feel like everyone's just trying to take what has already been and applying it to anything that had potential innovation principles that could have been grabbed onto and taken extremely far. And as far as whatnot goes, this is a prime example. I think they had the ability to go super innovative with everything, and that still everything that is in there feels very uh, hindsight oriented. Having that stuff like going down to categories, seeing categories. So I click on the category, and then it's multiple clicks. It's not the way we are adapting to utilization on these apps. Yes, it's not even reactive, it's regressive. Yeah, but the other apps aren't live selling apps. That's the problem. They're replicating. That's the thing. They're choosing to replicate instead of innovate. And they had the opportunity to create the entire brand new anchor of shopping experiences. So, and that just comes from a frustration. You guys have heard me say it before that I've been so like the opportunity just seemed like abundantly with full of abundance and opportunity for whatnot to have gone in just completely new directions. So, but I get all worked up when I start talking about that. There you go, Zoe's mod. Yes. All right, man. I got a cat sleeping on my lap. He's tired. It's getting dark out. I should turn on some other lights. Can you guys still see me? Okay. I don't want to. That's not my feeling. My feeling, as far as who they're hiring, they may be hiring some new people, but new people should be the ones coming with fresh ideas. I feel more like they hired some people that worked that like with the old school ingrained mentality, and they brought them on and gave them high places of and prominent decision making positions. Okay, I know. I'm not. I listen, Lady Z. I understand. I love whatnot. I don't want. I always say this. It just saddens me to what I think it could have been. It's impressive. I know, and I'm not talking about not testing things to scale, and I'm not saying doing too much. I'm just saying some of the directions they're going, I don't think needed to be going at all, and they could have blazed new trails entirely because they had the anchor, and that is a dynamic and significant attribute that comes along very, 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 very infrequently. To create the new experience for the magnitude of people that they did, the people would have followed the direction they went, and they could have created completely different styles and systems and processes. Oh, I know they do, Lady Z. I talked about that. I know exactly where the pressure points are coming from. I did a whole show about where the money came from and why that might be an attribute as to why they're doing some of the things they're doing. I know. And they want a payoff, and the payoff has to do with them eventually becoming profitable. And if there's old school legacy styles of systems that they believe are the profitable way, that's the way they're going to want them to go, especially since they're the ones that gave them the money. Kind of like it doesn't take too much math to put two and two together when one of the main funding entities was, you know, Alphabet's funding branch, and somehow magically they were really incentivized to go the direction of searchable information and really push that hard. That's not too hard to put that math together. Who makes money off the searches? Who thinks that's the way to go and wants that to be the way it stays? Yes. And data collecting. And guess who else does data collecting? Again, one of the largest, that company. We all know it's all public information. You go see that they have provided money and also spearheaded other money for whatnot. Yeah, the old golden rule, right? That's the real one. He who has the gold, the one that makes the rules. Email databases. All right. I don't That's why I said I don't like going down this trail. It just frustrates me. These changes that are coming are scary to you. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, going live, selling on this app is scary to everybody. The changes are a natural attribute of every platform. And everything that's going to change is going to continue to change. And the only thing that you can do about it is to get on and sell. Again, a fear only lasts as long as you're willing to avoid it. Yep. The longer you wait, the more you're going to have to learn how to deal with. You're better off getting in and adapting to the changes than dealing with a ton of information to have to absorb and accommodate for when you start. So, like me, I've been on here for over 5 years. So, all the changes, though they irritate me every time it happens, but I guarantee you it's easier for me to adapt to the change than to adopt all of them all at once. Yeah. The longer you wait, the more things are going to, and new changes are always going to be on the right. If you use new changes coming as a reason not to do it, then you might as well just not even start, not even bother, because it's always going to be happening. They're going to be giving stuff, they're going to be taking stuff away. Realize the principle that you want to follow are the pillar principles, and that's getting on here and selling. Don't get too caught up in any particular function of this app, like the gambling attributes that they have on here, the gamification, I call it. They used to do those shipping bloops. Don't worry about getting your 1,000 first sales. Just get on and focus on core business principles. Yeah, pivoting is essential. Just like I came on this app, and my entire business evolves and changes all the time. Before Whatnot, the last 3 years, I never really sold jewelry. My involvement in jewelry was next to zero. Now it's the bulk of my sales, and that's because of Whatnot. I basically pivoted my entire business towards what works for Whatnot, because the value that Whatnot brings as a platform is the value that I'm after, and that's speed. And it's not even speed, it's the ability to capitalize on providing an experience-based environment for people to shop in. And that brings more value than static listing anywhere could ever bring. Okay? Do you understand that? You're not going to get that anywhere else. There are way too many elements to compound value here. You're not going to get even close. You're not even going to scratch the surface of the comprehensive attributes of value that can be applied, and the ones that will potentially be available to be applied in the future on this app. The opportunities are huge. Yeah, you can, Mojo. But I like to look at it that yeah, you have your own business, but it's fun. There's so much value to be created here. Like, people, here's what I want you to understand something. Once you get the core principles down, the value starts coming with the people that appreciate the experience you're providing. You get additional value. You're creating your own environment. At this point, I always, when people start, how many people been in, I don't, it doesn't happen much anymore, but people that I don't allow uh, price comps in my chat. for a multitude of reasons. But there's people that actually get upset. I know this because I've heard it. Uh, that they think I somehow get more than I should for some of my items. And that's coming from people that just don't understand that what the true value of this app is that you are creating your own environment. You're creating your own essentially eBay. You're creating your own Amazon. You're creating your own experience, thereby dictating your own values that people are willing to pay for it. So my answer to anybody that complains or is concerned or get frustrated about that is you're only looking at where you perceive value to come from, first of all. And secondly, maybe you should just realize and readjust that maybe you're looking at the wrong place for value and the value you have in your mind is actually incorrect. That value comes from so many other places and you're discounting all of it. Yeah, but that the funny thing is value is determined based on what a person's willing to pay. And what a person's willing to pay in a vacuum is up to them. If I go and decide that I want to look over on X, Y, and Z site and see it selling for $1,000, and then somebody else wants to go look on A, B, and C site and it's selling for $500, well, one site is providing a magnitude and volume of other additional beneficial attributes, reward points, uh, additional customer service attributes, all that kind of stuff. Again, I'm using a high value, 500 to 1,000, but does that environment that they create additional value? The answer is yes. Numbers are not, you can't just look at value statically as numbers, especially as we evolve in our buying um, situations, especially also since people are more searching towards experiences more than they are for static or tangible merchandise. That's the other thing. You have people that literally, here, that's it, Mojo. The perfect parallel, I should do this, is when people are selling coins. There are people in certain mindsets that think a coin is only worth the content of the metal it's made out of. And then there's the new Newman newsmit. I can't even say it. Newsmit. Bleh. We're just gonna say it incorrectly. Numismatic value. Bleh. The word won't come out of my mouth properly. So they have what they consider a base metal value, and other people have what they consider a coin collector value. Who's right? The coin collector is obviously buying based on what they believe is the collectability, the intrigue of the search, the hunt, the research they did, knowing that only X amount of them were minted, so on and so forth. So, everybody, let me ask you something. Which one of those people are correct? Yes, what they might need, what they can't find in their area, all that kind of stuff. Which one's right? You got it. So for one, over here to say this person doesn't know what they're talking about, or this person saying this person doesn't know what they're talking about, is unfortunately and categorically a false perspective to have. And that is why I don't want allow comps in my show. Hold on a second. What are you doing, Nyla? Sorry. Yeah, I just didn't turn here. You want me to turn the light back off? Dive bar? What is this, everybody? Everybody that knows me, what is it? I like dive bars too. It's candy. It is black licorice, but what else? Nope, not salted. Nope, chocolate covered. Chocolate covered black licorice. No, it's delicious. Now, we're going to go through the fun things. No, no, no. No, I didn't get another warehouse cat yet. Online, when you look up that company, that's the company that makes it. Now, this is just regular sweet licorice, right? Good stuff. I got these for my birthday. Salted licorice. Well, no, this was my birthday was in May. You guys are going to love this one. It's good. Hmm. It's not very spicy. It is not Mojo. Now, those three I just ate did not have chocolate. Those weren't chocolate. $48, right? Yeah, 48. This one here, chocolate coated licorice, but this is passion fruit. My favorite is the chocolate coated. This one was like salted caramel with chocolate. My favorite is the one that's just a hard. It's chocolate with like a salted, like a salty salinity, salty hard shell outside of it. I need something to drink. There's one I don't like. The passion fruit's too strong. All right, everybody, ask questions. I need some questions. If it's anything we talked about already, we went over the two attributes that I talked that the title of the show was. All right, we talked about the free shipping and choice overload. Oh my goodness. For you whiny cry babies that don't understand things about licorice, here you go. Fine, I'll eat a piece of red garbage. Make you guys happy. Being so aware of these psychological factors, what are some things you do in your everyday life to counter their effect on you? Well, Bill, the thing is, these things are so ingrained in you psychologically, you'd be consciously active in your brain to the point of pure fatigue if you did. The only thing that happens is I catch some stuff, and I probably innately catch some stuff just because I have been reading about it and studying it more than most people. Sorry, now I got licorice in my teeth. You are to a certain extent, Mill, but that's the thing about these principles. They are just knowing about them doesn't make you or have the availability for you to not have them affect you. The more you read about it, but then when you aren't reading about a certain attribute, your brain doesn't pick up on it as much. It's easier to learn how to apply them because it becomes almost like a muscle memory attribute, uh, more than the way you can try to stop it from affecting you. It's really hard. I mean, I'm just gonna there. I'm not gonna sit here and say these principles because I read and study it. I'm not affected by it. I 100% am affected by it. All of them. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it's not. It still affects me by a large margin, but the margin you would think is probably not the amount that it's mitigated is not as large as you think. You do, but I just know it's not like the principle of loss aversion. Okay, a loss feeling twice as bad as a gain feels good is virtually impossible for you to be self-aware of happening in the moment because it's an emotional based chemical triggered principle in your brain. It's virtually impossible. Now, there's other things like the cheerleader effect I was talking about when it comes to buying. You're in a situation where things are slowed down enough that you can consciously go, okay, I'm in a buying situation. Am I allowing that to affect me in my purchasing decision here? Am I looking at this appropriately? Should I look at this in a more logical, systematic way that I know I could separate. Basically, so I'll give you, for example, Millicent. We talked about the cheerleader effect, okay, from me and a buying of a large, because I buy lots of large quantities of merchandise. So now I'll go through it once, like, okay, I'll go through it a second time, and I'll pull out the key things that I thought highly of, set them aside. So they're not, so they're in two different piles. So then I can assess it at least better, where I'm not allowing 10 or 12 items that affect 150 other items in my buying decision and making me pay more than I should or really assess the value. So, do I do that with everybody and everything I buy from? No, I do that only with the buyers or the sellers that I buy from that the valuation started to not turn out to be the way I would like them to be. So, I take a harder look. Did I want to do that? No, but I'd rather have them as a source than to cut them off entirely. But that is the way I have to do it. Like with Dr. K. When I was first buying from Dr. K, it was no brainers. Eventually, the costs got so high that I was not making the money that I needed to. And that's on my end to buy from him. So I had to be a little more strategic, and understanding these principles helped me get through that and helped me buy better. But on a day to day general basis, a lot of these principles I'm still succumb to because, like I said, I'm not in the situation to be able to slow down the everything to think about the principle and how it might be affecting me. Like I said, it'd be totally and unbelievably exhausting, mentally exhausting. It's mentally exhausting enough. I'm just going to tell you to apply these principles while I'm selling and deal with the one and only. We all love her. She's great. She's an absolute wonderful asset to the sales environment that we sell. But if you understand all the principles I'm talking about, you know how she throws a grenade into the situation very frequently. And I absolutely love her to death. But when you're trying to put together what I call a threads of coherence in my selling style, okay? And she snips that thread right in half. That's mentally exhausting. Not to mention applying the principles of arbitrary coherence and the halo effect and underlining in every other principle that I talk about. Uh, that's exhausting in and of itself. And then after I'm done working, to go and think about all of it again when I go grocery shopping, I would be, I'd be a zombie, absolute walking zombie. Oh, my brain would be mush. Yes. And then put up a piece that looked like it said, oops, I definitely started the auction sudden death. What? I'm not sure what you're saying. Do I practice the techniques with her? No. And that's my fault. Uh, as I go through this stuff with you guys, I'm actually been putting together a training documentation, uh, and I'm putting kind of like a training course together that I'm going to start going through with her and other people uh, in my company. So I can't get mad at M because I haven't sat down and formally like trained her in a systematic method that you know everything compounds and makes sense. It's just been little tidbits here and there that I say. So my frustrations are my own, um, and it's not, you know, and she's being her, and we all love her. Everybody loves, everybody enjoys, everybody appreciates what she has to offer. I'm not looking to take away anything. Oh, yeah. If it's a situation, Millicent, where I can, like, in the moment. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, I absolutely, like, when I'm like, I'm going to go to, buy a car. Yeah, that I can react to sales situations. So, like when I bought my last car, I didn't buy a used car; it was a new car. There's not too much negotiating when it comes to new cars. There's not. I mean, there when you go to a dealership that specializes and they deal in it, it's not like certain, like when you buy used cars, there's more flexibility. However, what do they try to sell you when you buy a new car? Anybody here know? What are the things they always try to sell you when they buy when yes, the warranties, extended warranties. So, I mean, that's rust spray. So my situation, this might not be the best example, Millicent, but when I was dealing with my car that I bought, and they were trying to sell me warranties, um, it was kind of funny. He's talking about all these benefits, if I'm going over potholes, this, that, and the other thing. So I bought the pricier version of the car. That's designed for it's the um, wilderness edition of the car, which means it's designed for like partial off road dealing, being able to take the punches and the problems and the hits and designed to last for higher mileage without problems and so on and so forth. So when um, we sat down, yeah, yeah, Subaru Crosstrek Wilderness Edition, and he's talking to me about the warranties. All I had to tell him, and to go into all the thing, all I had to do is say this stopped it pretty much in the tracks. Is so what you're telling me is I can buy the cheaper model of the Subaru and buy these warranties and make it overall cheaper to cover my basis. How well do you think that went? So, do you think I'm not joking? Yeah, 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 ladies. See, they didn't have fluff in there. He immediately goes, when they're done when they say this. I know, I'm sorry. You don't need any of this. I'm just doing my job. And I did refrain from pointing out that then you are admitting that your job is trying to take unnecessary money out of people's pockets. I didn't feel like getting into it, but I got him to acknowledge, got him to say it, and I signed the paperwork, and I was happy to move on because he knows he wouldn't be happy if I walked out of that room after I'm ready to sign paperwork for a deal that the guy that makes a commission off the sale price, the guy inside that makes money off the warranties, just talked me down in car price. That wouldn't have made for a very fun internal conversation. Ladies, yeah, I'm sure you did. So, but Millicent's actually applying the behavioral principles and the information I know about, like fallacies that deal with debates or conversations. Those you would have more fun with when I get into conversations like things I don't talk about on here, politics and religion. That's when I'm fully aware. That is when I'm fully engaged, and that is when I leverage and utilize the behavioral principles and allow myself to not succumb to them as well. It is extremely good to have this information when you are reading articles, when you're researching stuff on your own. You can and you will see the influence, the lack of, the direction they were going, much like Millicent's. Remember when I dissected the statement where whatnot was drawing a correlation between two different things that were not an accurate correlation. The only thing that they had to do with were the same type of number. You remember that? That's the kind of stuff that is blaring red hot to me. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that is I can see. That is where I would say is the largest attribute of value to all the studies that I've done. Not when I'm out and wondering, but when my brain's fully engaged and in focus mode. So that was a fun little bunny trail. We got any other questions before I get ready to go? Yes, Zoe's treasures. And self check your that is when you can check yourself. Like, am I succumbing to these same principles that are leading me down the wrong way? Am I enacting motivated reasoning in my research? You know, how many biases am I tripping over towards my observations or my conclusions? What do you mean? After I'm going to do what? After what? After this chat show? I'm going to go downstairs, get something to drink, meditate, and fall asleep somewhere after that. The anniversary dinner was good. Yeah. I meditate. Yeah, not as much as I would like. One of the most enjoyable times I had was when I was practicing meditation on a very, very mindful meditation, ladies, in case you're curious. Um, I feel at my best when I can actually incorporate it almost on a routine basis throughout the day. And Lady Z, seriously, buy the book Peak Minds. It was a great, easy. The way it was talked about, the way she described it, helped me a lot with the effectiveness of uh, and utilization of meditation. 100%. I know. I understand. It's not the same. Everyone says they have these different things they utilize. Trust me. And the beauty is they got it down to a scientific time frame 12 minutes, literally 12 minutes meditation. Peak Mind. Peak Mind. It's a book. Peak Mind. The big thing that is so great about it, peak, what Liz put in there. Liz wrote it perfectly. Peak Mind. It's actually the training of your brain in a focused mentality. And it's not like you go through breathing exercises. It's actually not the focus on the breathing exercises. It's the fact that you lose focus, realize it, and bring it back to the attention. That is the actual mental push-up or mental exercise that helps you develop the skill of extreme focus, which is extremely helpful. Like, the focus actually calms you. The focus actually keeps your thoughts in tune to the point where you feel so much better. Yeah, yeah. Honestly, everybody. It's and you have and yeah. The main thing the thing I use the most is what I call the test attribute, thought, emotion, sensation. You do the meditation, you focus on your breathing. Whenever something happens, you acknowledge what it is, whether it's a sensation that's meaning you hear something, you smell something, you feel an itch or something, then you bring your focus back to your breathing. If it's a thought that stopped you, you acknowledge that you just had a thought that took you away, bring it back. And then if you have a feeling, an emotion, you acknowledge it as an emotion and you come back. That is literally mental exercises to develop your skill of concentration. There you go. I have I've given that book to new I've given it I gave that I try to give that to people to read, and I know they don't read it. I've come back to it and fallen off of doing it on and off all the time. But I will tell you this: the more I stay on it, and the longer I continue to exercise it, the better I feel. You can even ask my wife. She's like, "I like meditation, Jeremy, better." Who to you? Yeah. Attention deficit. That's yeah. It's actually one of the best. You're the perfect person for it. Seriously. And that's the thing. Like I said, people get wrapped up. Listen, the key, and then I'm going to get going. This is very important for people that are seriously going to give this a try. Okay. Listen, it is, don't get caught up in the, and this is what's great about the book. She basically explains this to you. Don't get caught up in this. I got to focus, clear my mind and focus only on my breathing. Get caught up in the understanding that the distraction and coming back to the focus is the true exercise. Okay. That's the real exercise. You're going to lose, you're going to wander off in your head. You're going to hear sounds. You're going to get an itchy nose. All that stuff's going to happen while you're meditating. Don't get frustrated at it. Realize that acknowledging it, dealing with it, and coming back to focusing on your breathing, which is what the meditation practice tells you is the best utilization practice. Some people use a metronome or something else, but breathing is always with you, so you can do it anywhere. That is the real meditation practice. That is the real exercise. So, what is really the part that frustrates most people is actually the purpose behind or the exercise that provides the value. Because that's usually the thing that drives people crazy. So, yeah, talk about a bunny trail. Failure is part of the exercise, basically. Yeah, you can look at it that way. Yes, losing focus is that's your push up. Lose focus, bring focus back. Lose focus, bring focus back. Lose focus, bring focus back. It's a mental push up. You're creating the skill of increasing focus. All right. Well, I'm gonna get going. Here, okay, yeah, I'm shutting my phone off. Gonna go drink something nice and cold, refreshing. Way past my bedtime. I'll see everybody tomorrow for a little while.